we're starting out this morning. It's a little bit chilly, but we're on the western outskirts of Las Vegas, and on this trip, we're going to explore a portion of the old Spanish Trail that actually runs right through this valley.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to get some of the history of that trail, but today we're going to take advantage of its proximity to Red Rock Canyon.
Red Rock Canyon is one of those places that you can visit over and over, but have a completely different experience each time. We know going in that we're going to see things we've never seen before. We meet Cody Dix of the Southern Nevada Conservancy and Jason Douglas, a firefighter and former park ranger.
Welcome to Red Rock.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you guys here. We're at the Calico Tanks Trail. We've got a really cool hike for you today. The trail is about 2.2 miles, and that's an up and back.
So this is a fantastic trail, one of our more popular trails for a lot of different reasons. One, the geology is spectacular, and we'll get a good taste of that. And then additionally, there's a lot of cultural history too that kind of tells the story of how Red Rock Canyon was used before it became a national conservation area.
Sounds like we're going to have a great 2 miles.
I can't wait. Let's get going.
All right, let's go.
Let's get hiking.
We'll follow you. It strikes me when I look around at just the variety of different kinds of rock that I'm seeing.
Primarily, we have two major types, the sandstone and the limestone, but the colors can change on all of that. So we have beautiful sandstone, and that's what we'll be walking on top of here in Calico Tanks. And then the limestone are all those gray mountains up above.
The sandstone, if you pick up one for one, the sandstone is much lighter. And you can really tell if you picked up like that right there, and then you picked up this piece of sandstone, you can really tell the difference.
Right here, we're at what's called Sandstone Quarry, the beginning part of Calico Tanks Trail. In the early 1900s, there were companies, 3 businesses that tried to chop off blocks and distribute the beautiful sandstone we see around here to Los Angeles and San Francisco via railroad. These blocks weighed several tons, and they would use a steam-powered engine to transport these massive blocks to Las Vegas and then get those on the railroad out to California. Okay. And we can still see where they were cut into the sandstone here. It just has such fantastic qualities and colors on it. Easy to see why somebody would like to do that. But thankfully now, as a conservation area, nobody is allowed to do that. So these sandstone formations are here for us to enjoy. So as we continue to hike along the trail here, this is an agave roasting pit. These were the first barbecues here at Red Rock Canyon. They were used by the ancestral Puebloans and the Southern Paiutes, and these were places where food would be roasted to be preserved over the winter season. Foods would be plant and animal materials, and we're looking at a nice sized pit right here where the limestone would be heated and used to warm up those foods.
So, and how long ago was this used?
Yeah, so we're looking at agave roasting pits that are at least several hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Our best guesses on some of these are to give or take around 1,000 years. So very old, very important cultural site here. These were important places where people would come and gather. People you might only see once or twice a year. You'd be able to catch up with them, get important information, find out where spring water is, find out where good hunts are, but also be able to share stories and have a good time as well. So very old, but very well protected here, and it's something that we want to approach but not walk on top of to disturb the site.
So our terrain has changed underfoot here.
Yeah, instead of that limestone wash we were walking in previously, now we're in our sandstone here, and you can see both the stone and actual sand.
Is the sand coming off of the sandstone, or is it from somewhere else?
It's the sand coming off the sandstone. So as sandstone weathers and breaks apart, it'll turn back into individual sand grains here.
It's a strange life cycle for a rock.
Absolutely.
Every few steps brings another incredible view. This is not a terribly long hike, but if you come out here, you're going to want to stop a lot just to look around.
There's such variety in the color of sandstone.
Absolutely. Out here at Red Rock, we have oranges, we have reds, we have maroon colors. A lot of that is attributed to the iron inside the rock. That iron has oxidized or it's rusted, and it's created these fantastic colors and bands and stripes all throughout our sandstone formation. And some of the iron has even been bleached out of certain rocks. So where you see the lack of color, those were spots that groundwater moved the iron to different portions of the sandstone.
We've been following these a lot on this trail.
Yeah, so this is something unique to our canyon that we've just started doing. So like we were talking about our national conservation area, we're really trying to conserve the area. So a lot of areas you'll see where there's trails, you might see signs that are concrete in the ground or signs that are bolted to the rocks or stuff like that. So this is something that we just started, and all it is a big rock basket that we fill with the rocks around the area, and we're just putting the signs in the middle. And as you can tell, they're pretty sturdy. You can't push them over, you can't damage them.
Oh, yeah.
People aren't trying to take them home for souvenirs. So it's just something unique that helps us conserve the area even more, as well as blending in with our landscape around us. There's no restrictions on where you can hike within here, but we do like to keep folks on our designated routes, and this is one way to do that, as well as keep people from getting lost and things like that. As it is, as you look back down the canyon, you can tell you could go a lot of different routes. So it is a way to kind of keep people in the same direction as well.
And
It's a great idea.
As beautiful as it all is, it can be dangerous. So
Absolutely.
I like staying on the path.
So the people that are involved here, like yourselves, I mean, you're here because you're passionate about this landscape.
We're trying to connect people to the landscape, and hopefully just that little bit extra experience turns them into conservation stewards and spokespeople for places like this, America's public lands.
The trails are beautifully maintained, nice and clean.
It's just a great thing we have here is our volunteer presence. Thousands of hours have been spent in the canyon, and we really wouldn't be able to operate without them. Some of our groups are Friends of Native Wilderness and Friends of Red Rock Canyon. So just a great group of folks and do a lot of work for us here.
I love how this is like a natural stairwell to a viewing station. It's so cool.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Look at that view.
Man, what a view. Oh, that's spectacular. Oh, it was a nice hike to begin with, but this really tops it off, guys. This is great.
Absolutely. All that hard work pays off here at the end.
Yeah, wow. So we can see most all the valley from here.
Yeah. Yes, you can, and you can see the topography. You can see the bowl of Las Vegas.
It's a very accessible hike. I mean, a few levels there where it gets your legs and your lungs going, but it's very accessible.
And yeah, there's still more rock above us, so it's just a fantastic place.
You can see why it's such a popular place to come and hike. I mean,
absolutely.
When you've got it's not too long, the payoff is great, and you feel like you've done something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Hard to find a better spot to eat your lunch.
I hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I brought it. Well, thank you guys for taking us all this way. It's been a spectacular hike, and I don't know, I think that I probably will be bringing my family back here a few times going down the road.
You don't expect to have such a beautiful natural experience this close to the city, so it's just a nice way to get out and explore.
We return to the scenic byway and continue on, marveling at the variety of landscapes surrounding us.
A little over 5 miles down the road, we pull over to meet John Aslan from the Bureau of Land Management.
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing?
Johnny,
thanks.
Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you too.
So, where are we right now?
So we're in the Willow Spring area.
Okay.
There's a trail over here that goes back to Willow Spring, and then there's also some other trails that link up down to there that go to First Creek, which is a creek that usually runs year-round.
It's so interesting that you have such different but beautiful landscapes bumped up against each other.
Yes. We have the canyon here that's nice and tight there, and you can see off on the other side there's the tall limestone mountains over there, and that's the Spring Mountains over there.
I noticed that we both layered up once after the hike. And I'm surprised a little bit that we had to, but it's definitely colder here. And what's the reason for that?
It's always a little chillier here in this spot, and I think a lot of it has to do to is it's so narrow here that you're not getting the sunlight like you do in some of the other areas.
And it's part of really when you come out to enjoy the area, you should really prepare properly and have a few layers, gloves, depending on the time of year.
Yeah, people come to Las Vegas and they think that it's going to be hot year-round, and it does cool down in the winter. And then not only that, we're starting at about 4,000 feet at Red Rock, and it just goes up above that. So you get that elevation on top of it being chilly in the winter, and it gets cold here sometimes.
I'm noticing these rocks have a really interesting sort of striped pattern, and I find them really interesting to look at. And then I noticed we're roped off. These particular rocks are roped off.
Yes.
What's the reason for that?
So right here, if you look closely, right there you can see 4 or 5 handprints.
Oh yeah.
And similar to petroglyphs that you've probably seen before, except for petroglyphs are chipped away.
Yeah.
And these are pictographs. They're almost like painted up.
And we know that was done not last week by a bunch of kids on a picnic, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. From what I hear from our archaeologists tend to tell me the same thing all the time, is that we're not really sure how old they are.
But they can tell when something is old, weathered, and not recently done.
Right. Definitely not recently done. Was done by the Native Americans in the area. Not sure when, and not really sure why.
And they blend beautifully into the rock. So it obviously must be some of the pigment that they find based off the rock?
Likely local pigments. They're so hard to see.
Yeah.
And if the lighting's not right, you can't see them at all.
That's how well hidden they are.
Part of why it's fenced off is so that people don't go up and touch.
Don't go up there because the oils from your hands can degrade that faster.
So that's why we have to protect it, is so it can last a few more hundred or thousands or hundreds of thousands of years.
And it's not just a random location either. Just right next to us over here is an agave roasting pit.
Oh, wow.
So this was a big community area with the agave roasting pit, so they would have the big roasts out here.
Okay.
So obviously a gathering point and possibly their celebration.
They're scattered around all over.
Even back then, thousands of years ago, they knew where the good spots were to go and spend your time. So I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. In fact, we have picnic tables right there and right over there. So that's
a really good point.
We've kept it in a good barbecue area.
Yeah. And it's a landscape that every time you visit it, it has to be slightly unique.
Yeah.
Because with such cool formations and colors, the light's going to change, whether it's a cloudy day or sunny day or time of year.
There's so much out here that you can come out here 1,000 times and see something different on the same trail, and it was there when you were there the 1,000 times before.
Our day is ending, and already we're looking forward to our next visit to Red Rock Canyon. We thank John and head into Las Vegas for the night.